Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome back to the Mom's View. We have my favorite cast here today, Carlie, Katilette, Angel, Kayli, and me. I'm so excited to see you guys. How have you been, Carlie? I haven't seen you in the longest, so let's start with you.
I
First
disappeared.
of all, you're gorgeous, like chic, country, beautiful.
Everything I know today.
I love it. Just cute.
We've been busy. Just moved, and I had that choreography camp in August. I was in Oregon doing cheer camps and then training for this marathon. I feel like I don't have any time ever. But you guys speak that language. Busy. You know busy. You talk busy, right?
Yes. When's the marathon?
November 2nd. So
You're
we're
doing amazing.
You're nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carlie is a really good runner.
We did this at the same time.
This girl.
That one
I
right
had to keep
there.
up with Shay. When our training first started, I was like, oh, I got this. Shay's like, I've been working out, I've been getting ready, and Shay hadn't. And now he's really starting to catch up to me. And there's times where he'll push me, and I'm falling back, and then I feel like I push him, and he's falling back. So if you invest in a good, I do this, your husband, if you invest in a good brother, if you invest in a good workout partner, it's so beneficial for training, especially when you have this big ultimate goal at the end. It's so nice because those days you're like, I don't want to go run 18 miles.
Yeah.
You have that friend that's like, we've
Yeah.
got to get it done, and so it's
How
been
long does
helpful.
that take you? 18 miles.
Well, we ran a half marathon. We did that.
That was 13.
Yeah,
right?
we did that in less than 2 hours, which is pretty good on
That's
time.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So I felt good about that because my goal for the marathon is less than 4 hours. Even if
under
I get
4.
3 hours and 59 minutes, I'm gonna be happy. But that competitive side comes out in me, and I'm like, gonna be the best.
You're a good runner, though.
You're
I have
nice.
confidence. You'll do awesome.
It's a good zen. You guys should start
This is your
running.
first marathon, right?
Yeah, my first
And you're doing
goal.
it in New York City.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
So-
you'll get so much energy just
Yeah.
from being in New York,
And
too.
I think a
and
lot
just,
of the
you know,
viewers will be
people.
there, which I think will really
Oh,
help me
yeah,
because mile 14, 15, your body just starts being like,
Shutting down.
Oh, shut it down.
don't put me down for this anymore.
I ran the LA one by myself. Oh,
You
yes.
ran a
So
marathon.
you should give me some
2,
tips.
3 years ago. A girl, I ain't got no tips for you. You already did. The fact that you have somebody running with you is huge because at mile 18 is when I started to break down and
the
I
wall.
was crying running. I was like, why am I by myself?
You get emotional. Like after my runs, I get so emotional. And I don't know if it's the passion behind the goal, but it's like you just deplete your body of everything. And I am crying about, Cooper's just always like, my mom's crazy. Because he's like, are you going to cry again? I'm like, no, I'm running. It's really hard. I can't believe I did it.
You'll get it under 4. I bet you will. You'll get it under 4. Yeah. The fact
wanna
you have
go
somebody
cheer you
pushing
on.
you.
Yeah,
That's what I'm hoping for. So pray. And no injuries. That's all I can ask for.
Yeah, that was a huge thing. Oh, you'll be fine. You're going to do so good.
I'm not going to rush.
Thank you guys.
I'll be
I'll
happy
do it
if
for
I
us
make it
all.
around the
and
block.
then next year, we're going to do the Moms Do Marathon.
Yeah. Well, we'll watch a bunch of episodes of The Mom's View. Yeah, that's
Watching episodes.
Yeah.
We should do the marathon at Disneyland, then maybe I would do
Yeah.
Oh, that would
Wear
actually be
princess
really
dresses
cool.
and run it.
Little tutus, like
They had that in August, though. They just had it. It's way too hot.
That, yeah,
we'll
that is
die.
super hot.
Yeah.
We will
How about you,
die.
Shaytards? What have you been doing?
Yeah.
I'm moving.
Oh, that's no fun.
I'm so excited. I'm moving to a house. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm just like, I'm going to have a garage.
Oh, nice.
Laundry inside, like all those little things that I don't currently have in my apartment, and a whole new neighborhood for Michael and I. It's my first house after 13 years of apartment living, so
that's
I can't
awesome.
wait.
You
So
are
I'm
gonna
in
love it.
I'm in the thick of it. Like my life is in boxes and chaos, but by the time this comes out, I will hopefully be settled in and happy. And I want you guys all to come over for brunch parties and dinners and fun. And I can't wait. And I'm so excited to be like a real person and like for trick or treaters to come. You know, all these things I've been missing out on all this time. So I can't wait. So that's what's going on with me. We went to Chicago. Life is good, team.
That's cool.
Grandpa Idris met baby Idris.
Oh, I love
so
that
that was
picture.
like perfect.
So
And it was
sweet.
just, life is complete now. The little nuggets met like every important person in our lives now.
Right.
So that it feels really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you guys? Angel. Just growing some babies, no big deal.
Same old, same
Babies,
old.
more than one.
Not much going on. Yeah, just growing these babies, getting through this pregnancy, but they're both in there kicking it,
How far along are you right now?
14 weeks. Yeah.
14.
so you get to find out so soon.
Yes.
Like 2
yes.
weeks, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wait,
About
is-
16 week
Oh,
appointment.
really? Okay.
Do we have
Can't wait.
guesses? Should we start a pot?
I'm going to go for boy girl.
That's what it better be. That's
Yeah.
just the option.
Yeah.
I'm saying
Cat
have two
dog?
girls in there. Someone's been listening to you saying,
Yeah.
I want a girl, and they're like, 2.
Yeah, you
My
get 2.
husband, he actually said that in the shower to me today. He said, I love all the congratulations and love that everybody has been sending you, but those people who say 2 girls, I'm going to make a video especially for them.
He's like, no.
No, listen up, Kaylee. Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, but it's been going and auditioning and still, you know, having to hide my bump and working out. So I'm starting to feel like
my
myself again and not like the that I was the first trimester. So it's been good.
Yeah.
And Lil Marcus is excited.
I can't be on the moms too anymore. Everyone has been pregnant.
Literally,
or gotten
there's
knocked
never
up.
been a time that like there hasn't been
I'm
someone
like,
pregnant, which is so fun.
hilarious.
Yeah. When I started, you were like 3-4 months pregnant, and then of course we were, and then maybe a week in between,
Yeah.
like when we had our, and then you know, yeah. So that's cool.
Babies everywhere.
So
Baby
Carly, that gives you
I'll
about
just-
9 months, or I'm sorry, like seven months.
I'll just take one of hers and then it like counts.
Yeah,
Or I'll
there you
just be
go.
like super aunt for everyone.
I will
are a
give
Give me a
you
baby.
one. Yes, I will.
Colette.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, we're not in our house yet. Hopefully by the time this goes up, we'll be in our house.
It's never ending. Your
It
guys'
is
house
so hard.
project's never ending. It's amazing. It looks like a Pinterest house. Like you've put it together perfectly.
Thank you.
Just walk through. I'm gonna pin that. And I'm
I'm
gonna
putting that. I'm gonna pin her kitchen and
I can't wait. I'm going to cook a lot more now because my kitchen is awesome.
That's how I feel too.
we could all cook in
I
this
just wanna
kitchen.
cook.
It's
I just
huge.
re-inspired to
Yeah.
cook.
get in there.
Get womanly and stuff.
Yeah. Domesticated.
How about you, Kaylee?
Yeah. What's going on, sister?
Oh, nothing. Dang it. What's going on with me? Yeah, not a lot. Just same old.
Yeah.
We blessed Winston, which was just such a special, beautiful day. Oh, I loved it. It was just one of those days that it's like, this is a good day.
This is what heaven's
I loved
like.
it. So in our religion, we give them a special blessing
Okay.
and a name, and you do it. And
You could tell I was like,
yeah,
what's that
yeah,
mean?
in our church.
Yeah.
At our church, and then they wear white, and we got this cute little sweater outfit, and it was short sleeved and shorts.
And then do you like go like do a big dinner thing after? or
Yeah, I
something?
mean,
Like
I
a
kept
whole
it pretty
day?
small.
Okay.
With the other 2, I did like a big dinner and a lot of family. and
Okay.
I just wanted to keep it really simple this time, and
was
it was just
perfect.
it was a really good day. And Braylee and Gage are doing great. I miss them. I'm missing them
Yeah.
a lot this time.
Yeah.
Last time I was out here, I had them with me, and this time I was like, oh, I really wish that they were here. But
How has that transition been? Like leaving them, I mean.
it's hard. This
Yeah.
time was really hard. Gage was crying, and Braylee was like, I just want you to stay here. And then I talked to them and remind them, like, it's such a blessing. Like, I get to spend so much time with you, and I know this is hard, but it's good, and we're going to miss each other and love each other more when I get back.
Yeah.
But it is hard, and I feel like it gets a little harder every time.
It does. I love that we're in Idaho, though. We have so much
Yeah,
help,
it's so nice.
and they love it there.
Yeah.
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 I heard that Gage and Cooper are terrorizing the playground
Oh my
at
gosh,
school.
they're so funny. They've told everyone that they're brothers because they
Yeah.
look similar, you know,
Yeah,
and
they
a
do.
lot of people say that in the comments. And the other day, Gage was telling me, Cooper and I switched classes.
I know.
I learned what
That's
I learned what
amazing.
Cooper learned,
We're
and
troublemakers.
he learned what I learned, and I was like, what? And Casey and I were just like, do we do something about this? And then it ended
think
up
it's
that
awesome.
he was lying.
Oh, he was? I believed them.
No, I totally.
Gage,
I
this whole
totally
time I'm
believed
like,
him. And then he was like, I'm just kidding. Because I was like, I think I'm going to have to talk to this.
But Cooper did say that, like, in the library, he's like, I told them I was Gage. And I'm just like, and he
think
said,
it's
and Gage told them I
hilarious.
was Cooper, and we checked out each other's books.
No.
I'm like, oh my
They're
God.
totally going to do that. I know
Yeah.
it. And it's so
That's
funny.
amazing.
But Cooper bonked his head on the playground, and Gage said, everyone was running up to me and saying, your brother got hurt.
I love that because Cooper just wants a family so bad. So now that everyone's home, like, he doesn't want to ever just hang out with me. He's like, let's go see the kids. Let's go see the kids. I'm like, listen, I can be cool.
Okay, so our topic of the day is it's cell phones and privacy. I'm sure you guys have heard about like what's been going on. These iClouds got hacked, and like a lot of celebrities got like nude photos sort of like leaked everywhere. And they're all over the internet. It's viral. It's awful. Like, do you think that these celebrities are to blame for their nude, like we're talking like crazy nude photos?
Like-
what are your guys, like all up in your business?
I just don't know why you would ever want a picture of that. Like, I get it, like, you look sexy in some panties,
Yeah.
so you feel good, or a
Right.
new bra, or some tight pants, whatever, but, like, that's just not pretty on anybody.
Yeah.
I
don't
like
get it.
If they
I
wanna
don't
do
get
that,
it.
that's their business, and I absolutely think it's a violation. And
Yeah.
if they want to do that, then they should be able to. And it's terrible that that was leaked.
Yeah, I think so too.
Not that I do.
Kaylee's like, if my kids were
My girls leaked. I would be so.
I would be devastated. I don't do that. But I'm just saying, like, to each their own,
Right.
whatever, if that makes them feel good. And it's terrible.
I know. So in the past, I guess when nude photos have leaked, like celebrities have been like sort of forced to like apologize for the photos leaking. But I don't know. I feel like you shouldn't have to apologize when your nude photos in your personal phone get leaked. But then the other side of that is like, well, why do you have nude photos on your cell phone? You know?
Well, I think we don't always know too. I feel like sometimes it is a publicity stunt.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's true.
And maybe not sometimes, but you don't, I mean, how do you judge? And I don't think, obviously, they should have to apologize.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a really hard
I don't think that Jennifer
topic.
Lawrence would do it for a
She
publicity
doesn't
stunt.
seem like that type of person at all.
She doesn't
Yeah.
need it.
No,
yeah, she
right.
she
She
needs
doesn't
publicity.
Me, on the other hand.
Right, I was gonna say, you see that chick Angel out there. No, I'm trying to get these subscribers up, y'all.
Exactly. I'm like, well, let's go to 100,000.
I have
What do you want to
pinned
do?
Pinned Instagram,
goodness.
Facebooked it. I don't think Jennifer Lawrence needs it. She was probably sending it to someone and just didn't erase it. I don't understand, however, when you are that famous,
Right.
why you would chance it. That's
Right.
the only thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure people have ran into other people's naked photos and been like, I don't care. Who is this person?
Yeah.
But when you're that popular,
Yeah.
like,
Then it
you
brings
have
it
to
in.
know.
Yeah.
Take a Polaroid and but don't put it in the digital world. Don't do
think
it.
anytime you take a picture on a digital platform, you are at risk. And you have to
Yeah.
know that. You have to be
Right.
like, I have to take every precaution possible if I don't want my body out there.
Right.
It just
You know?
comes down to like who you're trusting, and I think maybe that's the thing that's the scariest is if I could say anything to teen girls or guys or whoever, like don't trust people. Don't take a picture that you wouldn't want leaked and trust that if you send that it's not going to get out there. I think in high school in Pocatello, Idaho, I hear all the time from girls I used to coach of like things that have been circulating around, and I'm like, how terrible that this person, girl or boy, thought that, you know, that's what the other person wanted, they were dating. And so, you know, it's just that bar of being pushed of, you know, what teens are getting into, and this whole sexting and Snapchat, and I'm gonna send you this quick photo of this, it's getting leaked, and then people get upset, and it's like, well, it really all comes down to who you trust.
Right. Yeah,
and what you're putting out with the world. And not that it's Jennifer Lawrence's fault, it was obviously hacked, but like Kayli said, to each their own. I mean, I remember after I got divorced, I felt terrible about my body. I remember he was just awful to me about, you know, like you got stretch marks and your body's changed, and that's hard for guys to go through, and so I get that now, but I was in such an insecure place with myself that I remember like that was when picture phones started coming out, and I wanted to feel good, so I was taking progress pics like of losing weight, and it was amazing to me to look back at like, not even like, just like in a sports bra and spandex, you know what I'm saying, but I can see how the line gets pushed of, you know, people wanting to feel sexy or doing things to make themselves. I can say I'm guilty of like taking a picture of myself that's like, you know, feeling. I'm like, if Shay saw this on my phone or Casey, they'd probably be like, oh, Carly. But I kind of understand the idea of wanting to just love yourself. But I think that I'm grateful that I'm at where I'm at in my life, because when I was 21, 22, not feeling secure with my body, I thought that that's what I needed to do, you know, because that was a thing. And so just I hope with things that come out in the media like this, it's just a lesson for everybody. To really learn like you can't trust people. You said you can't put something on a digital level and just hope it doesn't ever get leaked, because if it does, it just comes down to being like every day your actions do something that you wouldn't ever be embarrassed of people finding out about. And if you take them and you're not embarrassed, take them and don't be embarrassed. Like, I did that.
But I think that's where we're headed, where people are not going to care as much if their stuff is just out there, because I feel like it's so more common in that there are more people doing it on purpose now.
Kim Kardashian.
really. And so these are the people that the younger girls are emulating. So, you know, they know what they're doing when they send it to some boy that's not even their boyfriend yet. You know that thing's gonna be circulated through your school. I feel like we're becoming a lot more numb to it. Like when you said that she was naked, I was like, oh, well, that's what happens.
Well, also, like, people can Photoshop a face on a naked body and then say it's them anyway. Because I know a lot of the celebrities came out and were like, those were fake, those were Photoshopped, that's not even my body, this and that. Like, so, you know, if your photos are out there, like somebody can go do whatever they want to them. You know, they could take all our photos and put them on naked bodies doing weird things.
Please don't hacked. Like that's just to me, just getting into somebody's personal life. Like because we all do things in our personal life that if they were brought out to the world, people would be like, well, that's weird or that's awkward, easy to judge. But nobody knows like what the context that they were taken, why they were taken, and I just that's
it's
so
like
unfair.
Walking in your house and taking your stuff. It's,
It's
totally. It's not
Can you
different.
imagine what when you used to take your rolls of film in to like Rite Aid or Walmart? Can you imagine? I was just thinking, can you imagine what some of those pictures I'm sure they've seen and just they probably can't say anything and hand over like I just saw your nudie, but I can't say anything.
I'll send your junk.
I mean, I've tried to teach my kids like you are. Who you are on the internet is the same person who you are in person, and if you try to like hide stuff or make that different in any way, then it's not going to work. You need to be the same
you brought
person.
up your kids, so how do you guys like? How are you guys going to deal with your kids' cell phones? Like we talked about Jennifer Gardner's not going to let her kids have cell phones, but like we're all like, you know, quasi-public people, and so how are you guys going to deal with like your kids and phones, and they're going to want their own social media followings and things like that?
Scary.
Like I know, I mean, because you guys, some of your kids are getting a little older, so I'm sure that this is a topic that you're really thinking heavily about.
Remember we had that conversation with Casey, and
I know.
Casey's like, no cell phones. Like he's really going to be a stickler.
Yeah.
I would be like, oh, you can have a cell phone, but now I'm like, oh, I just think that no photos. And that's even what my little brother did. He was a really good kid, but my mom was like, here's a phone. You receive no photos. You take, you know, like no
that seems
messaging.
Hard to regulate.
It does. It really does.
And you brought, when we did that episode, you brought up a good point too. It's so much more work as a parent to monitor everything, and then you got to go in and monitor their social media accounts and their phones and everything like that. I mean, it seems like.
And I feel like that's our
overtime.
job as a parent. You have to, because I mean, to have your child go through something like that, a picture that they took that they don't want people to see, and it gets leaked, and that can destroy a kid. I mean, I remember just rumors going around about me that I felt like were going to destroy me. To have a picture, to have like all of these things that they're going to be dealing with.
Like you said, just being a mom, it comes down to educating your kids and just telling them, even the uncomfortable stuff. Like if you take a picture, Cooper, of your wiener and you send that to somebody, like, you don't, I mean, you have to almost, I feel like in this day and age, you have to be so blunt with your kids. And it's hard that we live like that, but it is just, it's just the world we live in. You have to be, I think, undereducating our children about what's really going on is the worst thing we could do for them. Especially if it's coming from a place of love and like, hey, this is going to be uncomfortable, but we need to talk about it because it happens. Kids will appreciate that and love it. I think kids get naughty when they don't know things, you know, and they're like, or they test the waters, like, can I do this? And then after they see the magnitude of the problem, they're like, oh, that's what happens.
I also think there always needs to be that communication, like, I want you to follow these rules because I care about you, so that they don't rebel and it's like, my mom doesn't want me to take this naked picture, I'm going to take this naked picture.
Yeah.
It's like a place of love.
Yeah, you have to really communicate that and use people like Jennifer Lawrence, for example. Like, that's sad that she had to go through that, but, you know, she's this nice girl and she took these pictures. And
my son, when he gets of age, will be like, this is a great picture. I'm confused on what's wrong.
Where's the problem here?
What we're looking at is fantastic. He'll just have a pager or one of them old school cricket phones.
That's
that can't take. It'll have like 3 big buttons, one for if there's a fire, home, police. And that'll be it. No.
Keep it simple.
I don't know. I feel like you have to. My kids have one phone that is the kid phone, and it's a dumb phone. Like I can't even work it. I'm like, oh crap, how do I dial on this? I don't get it, because it's not a touch phone. It doesn't have the internet. It's very basic, just so that I can communicate with them when I need to. But I think that giving your kids a phone is. It's a privilege, and they have to have the knowledge. They have to. You sit down with them and you just drill into their minds what they need to act like. And my kids know, like, you are a butler and this is your name, your family name, and you need to respect it. And you need to present yourself in a way that honors your family name, pretty much. And
I feel like that's like Mulan right there.
Yes. You are a butler. See, that's a great last name. I'm like, you are Tanksley. Well, then let me do what I want to do. I know what my uncle's doing. Let me do it too. But that's beautiful. There's such respect and honor behind the name that they're like, I want to live up to that.
And I hope that by the time we give them, you know, cell phones like iPhones with the internet, that they will have the respect for it and they will understand, like, this is a privilege and I need to be very careful with. That's the goal.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Goal.
Well, I remember when we were talking about it, and you and Michael kind of had a different
Yeah.
vision. Like, you don't want your kid to not have Facebook. Every kid has Facebook. You
Right.
don't, you know, you want your kid to have the same privileges that other kids
Yeah.
have. So what do you guys think about that? Like,
Oh, I could give two craps. He doesn't have
I
to
know,
have
it's
Facebook. He ain't got to have Instagram. He ain't got to have nothing. He got food and a house over his head. That's all you got to have.
Yeah.
Get over it.
I like the word privilege. Like, I think things should be a privilege. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't just get all these things handed to you, because it's more power and more things for kids to make choices. And when they have more power to make choices, it's easier for they have to make a wrong choice. So you have to educate them. It has to come from a place of love. And a thing that I've noticed is there's a lot of companies who are working more with parents. Like, they will turn off text messaging at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like
It
that.
won't start
I
again
do
until 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm a firm believer of turn your phone into me at night. You're sleeping.
Yeah.
You do not need your phone.
Yeah.
When you're at
100%.
school, you can be at school. I like that I can contact you, but if I can't contact you and you're not with your phone, then you get the phone taken away.
Yeah.
Because it's not a toy. It's not
Right.
a way for you to socialize. You're at school with humans that are breathing and talking. Socialize there.
Yeah.
And I mean, the social media is hard because we do that for, you know, a living. And so I can understand it, but I think you just have to have rules. I'm going to be strict at handing the phone in at night.
Yeah.
When you come home on the weekend, you're going to have a curfew for you and your phone. And if I can't get a hold of you, cutting it off.
you're absolutely
curfew.
right. It's
That's
a
great.
privilege.
Yeah.
Like, it's a privilege. There's no reason
Yeah.
that you should have this. It's
And
a
I
privilege.
think as a parent, if you are going to give your child a cell phone, you need to be aware that that is more work for you, and you need to take on that responsibility.
Right.
That's what that usually
check-
means.
me up
more
on
Check
work.
Twitter,
their
Mike and
Facebook,
Jane.
check their Twitter.
I think I might send my kids to Aunt Angel
Kids in
too.
Africa that don't
We're gonna
have
have an
clean
angel
water.
boot
And you
camp.
want me to tell you gotta have Facebook? Get out of my face.
Let's just have an angel face or an angel boot
Like a
camp.
boot camp,
Send our kids
exactly,
to the boot
right?
camp.
I'll be like, social media, whatever. No. Unless you are generating money for this household, I'm not listening to what you want. No. You know, I was spoiled to some extent in my life, but I also knew that there were certain things that were necessity and there were things that were not. So
Yeah.
my friends might have had the coolest clothes while my mother was at Walmart. Oh, well, it wasn't a necessity for me to have that, and nor
Right.
was I going to force her to feel like she had to make me be at the standard of everyone
Yeah.
else.
Right.
So that was something I learned quickly. Some things
you.
I'm just not going to have, and my son is going to have to realize that too. I don't care if it's free. I don't care if everybody else has it. I birthed you, so I make the rules.
Yeah.
Point blank. Period.
When you're 18, you can
Amen.
choose differently if that's what you choose.
Right.
All right, you guys, let's talk. It's time for some Twitter questions. The first one is from @RealKelbell. Do you think that kids older than 14 should have their phones checked, or do you think they should have privacy?
I feel like
Especially.
my phone, I could give to Cooper and not worry about any of the content on there.
Yeah.
There might be a whole line of selfies
Right.
that get good
Yeah,
lighting, but
right.
I feel the same way. If I'm going to pay for the cell phone and I'm going to allow you to have it, then it's a privilege. And then at the end of the day, you give it to me, and I will go through it because
Yeah.
So what about if your kid is like, I'm gonna earn my own money and I'm gonna pay for my own cell phone and this is mine?
I think you're still the parent.
Right.
Yeah.
I do.
You can go through
I think that's awesome.
That's a rule.
Yeah.
Okay, good. 'Cause
I think
yeah.
it's awesome though. If they're gonna work for it, less. I'm like, okay, work for it, but it's still under my household. You're still being fed, clothed, drove by me. Then, sorry.
He better hope
And
he
you're
don't
not
say
18.
that. Right, exactly.
Yeah, and I just think like there should be no
wanna watch him do
secrecy.
that
I
to
mean,
me.
kids have privacy when they go to their room and slam their door. They go to the school or whatever, like in their groups of friends. There doesn't need to be. I feel like I would hope my relationship with Cooper isn't like I do things
Yeah.
that he would never know about, and I would never want him to know about. I want to
Yeah.
live so that he knows who his mom is and what she's doing. And if he were to get on my phone, I wouldn't be like, oh, there's that porn I forgot to delete. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
there's never anything like that. Only just that he
Sorry,
knows my.
son.
Sorry.
Sorry I had to see that.
Yeah, there's nothing in there. The only thing that makes me mad is he knows my iTunes password and he buys all these games.
right,
But
right.
other than that, like
Yeah.
I feel like it should be the same way. If you're gonna use my phone, use it. If I want to use your phone, you know, there should be nothing on there.
Yeah.
If there is, oh heaven help you.
Yeah.
I just know how tricky little
I
teenagers
know, I'm
can
like-
be because I was the one, and you know, if I mean, I had a phone, I had a pager that my parents did not buy me a pager. I got that on my own,
love
and
that.
you know, I was just like, no, you're not going to tell me what to do. Like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
You can send me away, you can do whatever, but like, I'm going to do what I want. So I was that kind of a little kid. So I don't know how I would approach that going forward, like with my kid. Like, I just
Do what your parents did, because look how you turned out. Great.
So great.
So
Thanks,
great.
Mom. Yeah. Ooh, there was some rough patches though. If you
We
had
all
met
go
me at
through 'em.
13, you would have thought I would not have turned
Well,
out
that
this
picture
way.
that you put that throwback, you
Oh,
looked
yeah.
like you were 20
Yeah,
years
the
old.
Yeah,
bleach
I know.
blonde.
I was just like, what?
highlights.
What would I'm scared of you?
Most people were scared of me.
Don't mess with Shahrzad.
If I met 13-year-old Shahrzad, I would be terrified of her. I would run the other way, and she would punch me in the face too. So I worry about that because it sounds like you guys have great kids and you maybe were really great kids, but I was a terrible child that would never listen to my parents.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely snuck around.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I have such
I'm like, I want to hear more of that story.
I mean, I didn't like sneak around a lot, but the little sneaking around that I did was so fun that it's like, I know you kind of want that for your kids a little, like it's part of growing up, but then you don't want that for your kids. You know what I'm saying?
It's a tricky line because my parents, you know, they weren't like all up in all my business all the time, you know, and I don't want to be all up in my kids. I want them to like develop and, you know, go through things and learn on their own. I mean, I want to be a parent for sure,
right.
But there's certain things that they should go through on their own too. So it's a fine line between like how much like involvement you should really have. And I know cell phones and social media adds like a whole new element. Like certainly wouldn't want them like sending or receiving like naughty pictures. I mean, I would draw the line there for sure because that can be damaging. We talk about damaging to celebrities, but when you're just like a little kid, that is super damaging. That kind of stuff can lead to suicide down the road and, you know, when you're just taken advantage of that way. So that's, I mean, there's certain things I would for sure draw the line on, but it's interesting.
There's also those kids that like follow the rules, their parents are right there, and then they go to college and it's like,
that was me.
And I've met those kids too that had zero freedom, and then once they go away to school, they're dropping out the first quarter because they've got alcohol poisoning and they can't make it to class and stuff. So you don't want to be so, I mean, for me, you know, everybody's different. I don't want to be so strict that like I suffocate them. You know, that it's just finding that balance. Yeah, I don't know.
I think Carly had a good point with coming from a place of love. Like, you know, when we were talking about being able to look at your kid's phone after they're 14 years old, I think that if you can, you know, go through your child's phone, if you do find stuff that you disapprove of, being able to come to them from a place of love and not just be like, I found this, that's done, I'm taking your phone. You know, like,
I would have to take a deep breath in a couple days.
You do, like, and as a parent, like, there's a lot of that, like, think before I act, because
understand where they're coming from.
Yes, because how you react can push them away immediately.
Right.
Totally.
Or bring them into you.
Right.
I've noticed with my dad, when he would come to me and be like, okay, so I noticed this, and I'm like waiting for the like, oh shoot, he's gonna yell, and he doesn't, it's always like, oh, he's treating me like an adult, we can talk about this.
Exactly.
It makes a big difference.
Totally.
So I think being able to approach it in that way can help. I mean, I'm not gonna solve all the problems, I'm sure I'm gonna have major problems with my kids, but I think if you're coming from a place of love, that really does make a difference.
I try to make a rule with Cooper that's like, if you always tell me the truth, I might get emotional or have a reaction, but I will never get mad at you, and I will always try to understand.
Yeah.
And so Cooper is like, we really try to work on that. Okay, Mom, I did lie to you. I'm like, and it takes you a minute because it's hurtful, and you take it personal as a mom, like, why did he do that? But you just have to be like, okay, why did you feel the need to lie to me?
Right.
You know, and sometimes when you learn their side and how they see it, it's like, oh, that makes sense why they would do that. And then it's easier to understand instead of assuming I just have a bad kid, they want to be naughty, they're just trying to get to the stuff. It's like trying to understand,
Lying is a sign of intelligence, apparently.
Oh, well, my
kids-
son is good at lying.
They're really smart. That they're extremely intelligent, that they can imagine this whole other scenario, and that's why they lie.
true.
They can
So you
manipulate
gotta
a
even think about
situation.
that. Like, you're a liar, so maybe you're
My son
extra
is like, I
smart.
can imagine this scenario where my mother takes all of my toys and burns them. So I'm going to lie to you about this. You know, I was raised in a very strict household, and when we were on punishment, my mother would take the cords to the TV, the telephone, and everything when she would go to work so that we could not watch TV or anything like that. And I mean, and there's not to say I did things that are probably silly. I did things, the same thing, like fun little sneaky things or whatever that I think teenagers do, and I expect my son to do that. But as far as in straight out rebellious, like I'm not gonna listen to what you say, this is my cell phone. Well, guess your cell phone is now broken.
Yeah.
And it's in pieces. So I can't wait to see who you text now. Like,
Who are you gonna text about a broken phone?
Right. Yeah, you better get a carrier pigeon and send that a Polaroid because that's all you got. So my thing
Take all the
is,
nudies you want on this one.
right.
Pay for the film to get developed
On your own. So, I mean, for me, it's just like, if you're going to be sneaky, make sure you don't leave evidence. That's how, the stuff that I snuck around and did, it wasn't stuff my mother could find. So he just better be that good because for me, if I tell you there's a consequence, I'm going to follow through with that consequence. It's not going to be a bunch of, I need to understand you're a teenager. I was a teenager, so you're not doing anything that I did not think of or anything. So, I mean, as long as he's in my house, there's just certain rules he's just going to either have to follow or reap the consequence of it. And I'm not saying it's going to be a perfect system, but
I like that. That's like along the lines of parenting of love and logic. Like there's consequences and choices to everything. There's no middle ground. And I think that's the best thing you can do for your kids is following up with what you say. Because if they learn that, well, mom's just mad, she's just saying that, or mom just always says that when I get in trouble, and you don't follow through, that stays with them, and that will stay with them till they're a teenager. I knew my parents would always be like, well, your dad will be home. When your dad comes home, he's going to get mad at you. My dad never got mad at me. He loved me. I was always told my dad was going to spank me with the belt. My dad never spanked me with the belt. I think the one time he got mad enough, I think I took my mom's makeup to school or something. And so my mom's like, your dad's going to deal with you when he comes home. He's going to spank you with the belt. That was like the threat. I told when my dad came home, I was like, I will call CPS if you spank me with the belt. Do it. Because I finally got to that age, and my dad was like, really? And so then he just I mean, it never happened, but that was one thing with my parents. They would say they would do things, but they were just too nice. I'd be grounded for a day. Maybe that's because I was just such an angel. Right, Mom? I was an angel.
Man, I was grounded non-stop.
Oh, me too.
I came from a really strict home, too. My parents were so young that they were like, I was just doing this 10 years ago. I know what you're doing. I know what you're all about. So don't even try. And they were very strict. I got grounded all the time, and they stuck by it. And I look back and I'm so glad they didn't let me go to parties that my other friends were going to. And then I found out what the people were doing at those parties. And they were very aware of what was happening. I snuck around, I tried different things. And my parents always found out, and they always knew, and they always dealt with it. And I'm so grateful now. So I think of that, and I even have explained that to Braylee. My mom and dad were really strict. I'm going to be really strict with you, and it's because I love you, and I want you to look back and be happy about the choices that you made. So, as far as phones go, I will be checking them, and I might be a little crazy, but I feel like they'll appreciate that in the end.
Yeah.
You guys ready for the next question?
Yes.
This is from Shelby Lynn, 44. She says, I feel like...
I love Shelby.
I know, we both.
Kentucky girl.
I feel like when I was able to have my own computer, my parents were showing trust in me. Would you let your kids have their own computer?
Oh, that's tricky too, because you want them to feel like they know that we trust them, and that we know that they're good kids, because that's another thing, to know that they have trust. I will not let my kids have a computer in their bedroom.
Yeah. I'm all about keeping it in the open spaces, kitchen, living room, anywhere where we're all interacting together. There's no need to take it in the bedroom with the door closed. And not even because of the trust thing, but sometimes things come up on your computer that you're like, what in the heck is, how is this on my laptop right now?
Well, I mean, those things pop up, and they're going to be like, oh, what's that? It's so easy. The best kid can get into a mess. Not meaning to.
I mean, I think I would let Marcus have a computer. It'll probably have a lot of parental restrictions on it.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot they can do.
Because boys are visual creatures. They get hormones. I think more so when he becomes a teenager. I would be shocked if he did not search to find pictures of naked women. I would be like... I feel like at a certain age, boys just want to see it, even if they're not having sex. They just want to, and it's not their moms. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what that, and I would be a fool. I don't care how sweet he is. I feel like that is just something that boys go through, where they're just like, I want to see it. And I feel like if I gave him his own computer, that would be something that I would just be mindful of, because it's not like, I would be upset, but I wouldn't be that mad, because I'd be like, this just, boys are visual. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want me to be the gateway for him to find it. If he gonna find it, you better sneak, and I better not be able to find that you did that. So I don't want to give him the tool to be able to do it, even though I know he gonna figure out a way to find it. He gonna get a magazine, something gonna happen.
I just think that the more information, the better. And it's not like, let's sit down and watch a porno with our kids so we can teach them about the parts. But I don't think that body shaming and being like, you are a bad person, or you're gross, or why are you looking at that, or why are you wondering? Because I think that I believe in God, and I believe that God blessed us to have strong desires and passions for a reason. And sometimes those desires and passions aren't always a gift or a blessing, and we need to, I feel that we're here to overcome some of those things and make our weaknesses strengths and vice versa. And like you said, boys and humans are normal. God blessed us to be sexual beings. That is normal and that is totally healthy. Right. But it's learning how to teach them to do that in the right way. And having a teenage boy, I mean, you know, it's hard. It's hard to
I
be
feel like
around
this is
and
a
know.
whole other episode.
Yeah.
But
The sex talk.
what I will say about that whole topic is it just goes back to teaching them. You have to, like, knowledge is power. You can't, in the name of keeping your child innocent, cause them to make mistakes.
I just love you guys. I'm so happy the
We could
band's
talk
back
forever.
together. I know we could talk about this forever. That's all the time we have for today, though. So we will see you guys next time. And as always, you can keep the convo going by using the hashtag TMVTalk and send us those Twitter questions, everything. We love to hear from you guys. So we will see you next time.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.